Hey guys, Ike here from Mike'sOutdoors.com. I'm here today to show you my DIY tree saddle. I'm going to show you what I like, what I don't like, what I got right, and what I got wrong. Okay, so first up, this is not an instructional video. This is not, basically if you go out and make a tree saddle exactly like mine, I'm not liable for it. I'm just showing you what I'm doing, why I'm doing it. Like I said, how I've done it, what I like and what I don't like. I will get into a little bit of instruction, but not a whole lot in this. Basically, I'm going to show you, you can figure out how to do this on your own. It's very, very simple to do. For guys that don't know what a tree saddle is you can make one yourself, but it's kind of, what I've got is a rock climbing harness, and I've got a safety harness, and you're rigging it up to where that's pretty much all you're hunting out of, is either the rock climbing harness or the safety harness tethered to the tree. But you're doing it in a very specific way, and you're doing it for mobility, and you're doing it for a lightweight pack-in and a easy setup, quick setup, and something that you can get access to almost 360 degrees around a tree to shoot. So I'm doing a tree saddle for one reason, and that is so I can hunt with my son without having to go out and buy a bunch of two-man stands. I'm going to be using my tree saddle. Basically, we've got a bunch of ladder stands, and I don't want to replace them with a bunch of two-man stands. My son's getting old enough now that he can climb up into a ladder stand with the right safety precautions taken, and when he goes hunting, I film. And basically, I'm going to set up right next to him in a ladder stand, and I'm going to sit in my tree saddle, keep me from having to go out and buy, you know, a dozen or so two-man stands that here before too long, you know, in a few years, he's going to be hunting on his own. You know, he'll be hunting on his own, and I won't need to be in the tree stand with him. So this is an alternative to me to carrying my climber around, because the climber is heavy and it takes a lot of effort to get it into the woods and get it out, and I'm just trying to look for an alternative to carrying that climber around and getting it set up. So this is what the alternative that I come around. I don't know whether I'm going to love it. I don't know whether I'm going to hate it. I may end up hating it, but I've got a very minimal amount of money into it, and that's why I'm going this route with the DIY saddle rather than going out and buying one, is because I'm basically going to try to do this as cheap as possible. Now, I will possibly hunt out of this thing, especially if I start to like it. If I start to like it, you bet I'm going to hunt out of it. But this is what I've got. This is how I've set things up, and this is what I like and what I don't like. This is video number 1 in this series. I'm going to make a few more because I have not got this thing to where I like it yet. A couple disclaimers. One, right off the bat, I'm going to put links down in the video. These are the carabiners that I use. These are rated for climbing. I only have 3 of these, so you're going to see another carabiner in there, something like this or something like this. I'm not getting off the ground with these. I've got more carabiners ordered. I wasn't exactly sure how many I was going to need for this setup, and it looks like I'm going to need 4, so I ended up 1 short. So you may end up seeing one of these in the video. That is specifically just to try and get my setup right. I'm not going to get off the ground with this. So enough bullshit. Let's get to the saddle build and what I'm using. So the first thing that I bought, actually got this given to me by a buddy of mine, is a rock climbing harness. This is a black diamond bod harness, and this has got loops on the side. It goes around your waist, just like this, and then goes between your legs and snaps up just like that. And once you get this thing set up, you bring this piece right here right through your loop. At least that's how I was shown how to use it. It doesn't seem right to me. And then you can hook your safety line to it, your carabiner to it. You can put your rope in, hook your rope into it, and tie into the tree from, or to your line from there. I tried this out, and I tried it with a bridge underneath me that would support my weight, and I do not like this particular harness. The reason I don't like this particular harness, and please give me feedback if there's something I'm doing wrong. I don't know. That's why this isn't an instructional video, because I don't know if I'm doing this stuff right. But this is the way I watched a couple videos, and this is the way I've seen the guys using this exact harness, and it doesn't make sense to me that it would work like this, because when you put all your weight on that, look where it's pulling. It's not comfortable, and it does not lend to shifting around in a tree, and that thing's shifting around with it. The other thing is it pinches your legs real bad and squeezes in right here. So I did not like this rock climbing harness. I may end up going with another rock climbing harness, but it will be one that is a little bit different type. So what I'm going with is my Hunter Safety System Bow Hunter safety harness. And what I'm using on this is not the back side of this, the one that comes off of your neck. What I'm using on this is the climbing the lineman loops in the front. I like this one because it also, when we get outside and I show you what I've got going on, this one will give me a third point of contact to the tree, and it'll give me a third safety net. So I'll have one, which will be the actual bridge that goes underneath my butt. I'll have the second one that'll hook right to my lineman's loop, and I'll have this third one that'll hook up way higher than that. So if the bridge fails, then my lineman's loop will catch me, and if those fail, this right here will catch me, and if at that point I haven't grabbed hold of the tree, I'm going to fall. But it gives me 3 different points of contact to the tree rather than just 2. So I'm going to bring the camera up here and show you guys the bridge that I've been talking about. I call it a bridge, it's a seat basically. I'll show you the seat and how I built it. I'll show you the rope that I'm using, and then the platform that I built, the bags that I've got, and we'll put it all together and we'll go outside and we'll climb up in a tree, and I'll show you how this works. I guess I should have mentioned welcome to my shop. This is the other filming area that I filmed in. This is my lab. This is my shop off to the side. So I'm going to show you my bridge real quick. I keep calling this a bridge. It's not really a bridge. It's a seat that's going to go underneath my butt. I'll show you how this works here in a little bit, and I'll show you exactly what this is. But this is the seat that I'm actually going to put my weight on. At first, this will be the initial point of contact to the tree. This rope is am steel, and I actually made this at work. I had a buddy that sews things up. We got an industrial sewer there, and he sewed this up for me. This is a bag off of one of those fold-out lawn chairs that you get at Walmart, and it is not doing anything structurally. It's just a sheath covering this thing up. What I've got here for the main piece is a military-grade belt. This came off of one of the loadout systems that they used in the Vietnam War era. It's the one that you see in all the Vietnam movies with the grenades hanging off of it and magazine clips, pouches on the side. I don't even know where I got it at, but I got the whole rig, and it had this belt on it. So I took that belt out and I sewed in strips of pieces off of a safety harness, top and bottom, all the way across. I think there's 5 of those across there, and then this piece right here is off of a safety harness as well. And at work, we sewed the square into it, and we sewed the X into it, and I put the am steel bridge on there. Now this is the piece that goes right underneath my butt. This goes around my waist. These two come up a little bit further down on my thigh, and this point goes up and connects to the tree from there with this am steel and some carabiners. Now there's some other things that I'm going to do. This am steel, I'm probably not going to end up using the am steel for a couple reasons. I don't like the way it frays at the end. It's kind of sensitive to, I'll show you some other things that I've done. When you bend it, it stays, and I just kind of don't like it. I'll show you the rope that I am going to use next, but I am going to use this for a bridge because it seems to be okay for that. I'm going to retie these knots, and I'm going to put some shrink wrap on here and heat that up to get rid of all those loose ends. But that's my seat. Next thing I'll show you is my platform. Now this is a prototype platform, so there's a couple different things that I'm going to change on this. This platform is 12 by 12. I got a tape measure over here. This platform is 13 by 13, and it's got the V on the back, and I'll show you what I did. Originally, what I wanted to do was have it facing this direction and hook up to it here with a probably a piece of that Amsteel and tighten it up. But the problem is it wants to wobble. So what I ended up doing was turning it over and hooking it here and here with a jack strap, and that worked really well, but it wants to wobble there as again. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go back and I'm going to put some teeth right here and right here. I've already machined those out. I've just got to get them welded on. And then I'm going to put a piece of expanded metal over the top of this. Real simple platform. You see these online, and these guys are making them, or these companies that are selling them, and they're selling them for an insane amount of money. I don't have hardly anything in this thing. It's all scrap steel that I got from work, but a guy could make it with just, you know, one stick of steel and a little MIG welder that you've got at home. It is a little bit heavier than it probably needs to be, but if these don't end up working, I'll probably end up just cutting those off and going with a single piece that comes down to keep it from going down. They add a lot of weight to it, but overall, real simple build. I mean, it's just a square with a T in the middle of it and a couple pieces in the back that are angled, and I just welded the hell out of it. So I'll put a piece of expanded metal on there eventually, and I'm going to put two teeth on here, two sections of teeth on there that I've machined at work, and I'm going to go ahead and weld those on, and just to keep this thing from moving around. But that is the platform that I'm going to put my feet on eventually when I end up getting off the ground. Okay, so I've got two different ropes here, and what I'm going to end up using, what I ordered, was this Amsteel. And like I said, there's some things about this Amsteel that I do not like. It's strong. It's really, really strong. And I like how strong it is. I'm going to use it for some things like some bridges and some things like that. But overall, for my main line, I am not going to use this. What I'm going to end up using is this rope right here. I'm going to find some of this rope and end up buying this. This is a Hunter Safety System Lifeline, and it already has the Prusik knot on it. I'm going to end up finding a climbing rope that is a little bit more similar made to this and end up using this stuff. I like the way that you can melt the end of it. I'm going to buy some of these clips and put on there and squeeze. I got a tool at work to squeeze those down, so I'll be able to put that piece on there and be able to clamp off the ends. And it's got the and I'll buy a piece to tie this Prusik knot and use the Prusik knot on there as well. So I like that rope. This is not the rope I'm going to use, but I'm going to buy pretty much the exact same stuff and end up using that. I'm not going to tear this up because this is the Hunter's Safety System Lifeline that my son uses when we do climb into a tree. I climb up there first, put this up, he ties the bottom of it up, and he climbs up with it. So the other thing that I bought is this descender, and I bought this just to try it out and play with it. And so far, it doesn't seem to be that great. It seems to be okay, but I don't think I'm going to trust my life, 20 foot off the ground with okay. I'll give it a little bit of a shot. It does not work with the Amsteel at all. The Amsteel wants to go through there, and I'll show you what it does with the Amsteel. The Amsteel, this is one of the reasons I didn't like the Amsteel, is just because of what this can do to it. So when you put that through there, it sets like that. And the Amsteel could actually slip to the side of this when you're putting weight on there. So it locks in tight, but it can actually slip to the side of it, and it could actually mess the Amsteel up a little bit. And then when you take it off of there, the spot where it's pinched the Amsteel, you get that on there, and you got this section up here. That's why I'm going to get away from the Amsteel. I just kind of don't like it that it does that. This rope here does not do it. It bites into this rope really good, and I'll probably end up going with a smaller diameter rope for this. But it ends up biting into this rope here really well, and the rope can't slip behind it because it's so big. But when you take it off there, it's done a little less damage to the rope, at least visibly to the rope. So that's why I like this. I'm more comfortable with this rope than I am with the Amsteel. I think the Amsteel is fine. I just am more comfortable with this style of rope right here. So that's what I'm going to go with a Prusik knot on it. This descender, I may end up, like I said, I'm going to try it out, and I may end up using it. I may end up not using it. So that's, I'm going to put links to all this stuff down below too. These carabiners, I got a couple of 3 different kinds. They're all from Rock Climbing Gear. These are the kind of carabiners that I'm going to use. I'm going to order a few more of these. This one came with the Hunter Safety System. I want the ones that clip shut and then screw over the top of it so you cannot open that up. I don't like these ones here. This one came with an old an old tree saddle that I had a long time ago, an Anderson tree saddle, and I'm afraid that can open up. There's nothing to keep it there from opening up. Of course, those there are not really meant for climbing, but this is what I'm going to use because they have the 2 points of security on them. 1, they close, and 2, you screw that up and it keeps it from closing. So the more things that I can do to cover my bases, the better off I'm going to be. So this next stuff is stuff that I bought. It's kind of add-ons to it. Some of it's necessary, some of it's really not, but it's stuff that I think will make it a little bit more enjoyable to spend time in a tree. Knee pads are definitely a must-have if you're going to be doing this, because you'll see when we get outside, your knees are going to be right up against the tree, and your weight is going to be on your knees, and these right here are definitely going to help. They are a must-have if you're going to sit in a tree saddle. So those are a must-have. Now, I've also ordered a couple pouches, and like I said, I'm going to put links to all this stuff below. I've got a couple of these pouches. These are just, they're military type pouches that have a section on the top that will close. They got a pouch in the front. I'm going to sew a MOLLE system onto my seat, and I'll just put these right onto the MOLLE system on my seat. So I've got those two, and I'll put a link. Hey, there's my cell phone. I'll put a link below to where I got these. So I got those to try out and see if I like those. I also got this. This one's just a water bottle holder, but it's going to be nice just to drop things down into, close the top of it. Again, it's got a MOLLE system on the front, so if I want to add a little pouch to the front of it, I can. MOLLE system on the back, so I'll put that on there and try it out. This is another thing that I bought that I don't know if I'm going to end up liking or not. This is a chest bag. You can see, basically these go on your shoulders. You've seen these on military type movies. Operators, wear them, stuff like that, my son said. So this goes in your chest. Zipper there and a bag there, zipper on the back. These come around on the back side and hook right there. So to give you a pouch basically right in the middle of your chest to put little things that you're going to need. I'm trying to eliminate my backpack altogether where I can just wear this in and that will be it. So let's put this all together and let's go outside and see what I'll show you guys how I use this, and I'll show you what you can do with this setup.